So Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth started a Christian prayer meeting where he led it. And he said it's going to be a monthly meeting, a monthly Christian prayer meeting. And the Democrats have lost their mind. And I'm going to tell you why. But first, I want to say this Memorial Day, I'm so thankful to God that he gave us a commander-in-chief that understands the role of the military. And he gave us a Secretary of Defense that understands the role of the military. When Pete Hegseth was being questioned by the liberal media, about this, like, oh, is this proper? The thing that really a lot of them had to mention that bugged him was he's talking like this, just talking with his hands like we do. And there's a big old cross on his forearm, tattooed. How inappropriate is that? Secretary of Defense having a big tattoo of a cross. Now, I'm sure if it was a rainbow flag, they would have praised him. But they're trying to make a big deal of his tattoo. But Pete Hegseth is not a politician. He's not a left-wing hack like Biden and Obama put in charge of the Pentagon. He's a combat veteran that fought in Afghanistan and fought in Iraq. And he understands the role of the military. And with the left, the issue is never the issue. They're saying, well, it might make, you're having a Christian prayer meeting, it might make Muslims and Hindus feel bad. They can have their prayer meeting too. When I was in the military, there was prayer meetings of other groups, but I met weekly in a Christian prayer group led by a lieutenant commander, if I remember correctly, an officer. This is the history of the military. Our first military leader, George Washington's iconic picture of him praying at Valley Forge. He always prayed to the Lord Jesus Christ for his troops. And this has been a tradition. But you see, the Democrats, the socialists, the communists want to remove God from everywhere, and they want to weaken our military. Just like with this transgender issue. Clinton started it with his Don't Say Gay, allowing gay men in the military as long as you didn't talk about it. When I was in the military, we had a different saying. We said, if you're gay, you can't stay. Their saying was, don't say gay, or don't ask, don't tell, I think. That we weren't allowed to ask them, and they didn't have to tell us. And then Obama took it to the next level. And then the Marxists that ran the Biden regime, because Biden, we know, us conservatives said it for the whole 4 years, but now the left has to admit it because 90% of the country has finally faced reality that Biden was shot. He didn't run nothing except his mouth with lies that the teleprompter was telling him. But yeah, so homosexuals were joining the military to get free transgender surgery. That was their whole purpose. But they couldn't go out to battle because they got to get hormone treatment every month. There's so much treatment. So they were useless as soldiers. So Trump administration and Pete Hegseth said, no, transgenders can't stay. There's requirements. Only 8% of the American population meets the requirements. If you're overweight, you don't meet the requirement. If you can't run a mile and a half in a certain amount of time, you don't meet the requirement. If you don't have the mental capacity to pass an ASVAB test, you don't. There's a lot of criteria. So this was all just political experimentation, trying to transform our country, trying to transform our military, and might I add, trying to weaken our military. But our military is back stronger than ever. And since Pete Hegseth has been Secretary of Defense, we've had record number of recruitments. Because no real man wants to join a military full of transgenders and homosexuals. I mean, the military has one purpose: to defend the United States of America. And they do that two ways: by killing and by blowing things up. So to make the military great again, we have to make it as lethal as possible, because we do believe in peace. We have the most extraordinary president that brought peace to the Middle East, that stopped Russia from invading Ukraine, and now it looks like he's going to get a peace deal to get him out. But we have a peace president, but he knows the only way you attain peace is through strength. So we need a strong military. But the Abraham Accords, it looks like Saudi Arabia is going to sign on to it. Several other countries. There's peace in the Middle East. There will be peace in the Middle East. So why do the Democrats hate God so much? I mean, when Obama was running for president, his advisor said, to win the, we need a few more votes to win the, parts of the South. We need to get some of these Christians on board that, that won't vote for us. So let's put God somewhere in the platform like the Republicans do. So they put this simple line, we want to acknowledge that God blessed America. Something simple like that, very vague. But they had to get a vote from all their delegates. And they said, if you're for it, say yay. Dead silent. If you're against it, nay. Everybody was nay. So, but the Democrats run the Democrat Party like the Russians run politics, like the Communist Chinese run politics. We've seen that what they did to RFK Jr., what they did to Bernie Sanders. I mean, how they got Biden in there. I mean, it's just in your face. They don't listen to their delegates. They don't forget about listening to the regular Democrat on the street. So after all the delegates at the Obama convention said, no, we don't want God in our platform, they said, the yays won, and they put God in the platform. And for 15 minutes straight, I watched it on live television, the Democrats booed God. So why do socialists and communists hate God? Because their God is government. And their religion, their denomination, however you want to call it, may take the form of communism, may take the form of socialism, may take the form of statism. But they don't trust the average person to have freedom. They think the government needs to control us. And that's what they're afraid of. Because where Jesus Christ is, there is freedom. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. And they hate freedom because they think we're a bunch of knuckleheads, and only these elites that go to Harvard and Yale know how to run things. Left to ourselves, we'll destroy the country, is their belief. But you see, in the military people think very different. Men enlisted in the military come from Democrat families, Republican families, independent families. But by the time you finish your military career, whether it be 4 years or 20 years, 90% of military men are conservative Republicans because they see the world. Like my son-in-law said, when he went to Africa, he was so thankful for America. He was stationed in Africa for a month, helping make clean water for these villages. He's been all around the world, several countries. And every country he goes to, he's more and more thankful for America. When you see the war on terror, these people go to countries where they kill you just because a woman didn't wear her burqa, or they kill you because you say something contrary to their faith. They're thankful for America. In the opposite way, these same families, if they send their kids to Harvard or Yale, they get indoctrinated with anti-Semitic professors, and next thing you know, they're promoting Hamas and killing people just for being Jewish. These same professors are pushing socialism and communism. These kids come out like little commies, hating America. And these are the people that tend to be Democrat, and the military people tend to be Republican. So I just want to say this Memorial Day, I'm thankful that freedom of religion is still popular in the United States military. And I'm going to make some videos honoring some men. But there were 9 military chaplains throughout the history of the military to receive the Medal of Honor. 5 of those were Catholic priests, 4 were Protestant pastors. Think about that. Think about that. The military has a long history of Christian prayer, Christian fellowship, Christian camaraderie, Christian values, Christian work ethic, biblical laws. The military was founded just like the United States was founded on this. And the military was the one institution that the left hadn't corrupted yet. And they did a really good job under Biden and Obama and Clinton, especially the Biden Marxists that were running things. But it's back. It's back to its roots. You know, I spoke to, on this channel, I interviewed Archbishop Timothy Broglio. A lot of people know him as the president of the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops. But he's also the Archbishop for the military diocese. Every military chaplain is under him. And he told me when Obama issued a decree that chaplains have to marry gay people, he spoke to Pope Francis. Pope Francis said to him, tell them you will not allow your chaplains to marry same-sex people. And you will not allow your chaplains to bless same-sex unions, and you will not counsel same-sex couples. And Broglio said he told Obama that, and Obama backed down. And people say, well, what about separation of church and state? Well, if you know history and you know the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, that was put in there for the state not to infringe upon the rights of religion like they did in every other country. America said, no, the wall is one way. You can't come into the church, but it's our right and it's our duty to be involved in government. And from the very beginning, you see that in the courts, you see that in the federal government. Even today, before every session of Congress, the congressional chaplain leads us in prayer. So there you have it. This weekend, I plan on making some patriotic videos on some of our great chaplains. I have some. I made some short videos, if you haven't seen them yet, on some great Catholic chaplains. But just remember, this Memorial Day is about the men and women who died for us. And most of them were Christian men. Most of them. You know, the media wants to spin it however they want to spin it. But the truth is, most of the Americans who died for mine yours freedom and our safety were Christian men. So God bless and stay Catholic.